Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Sunless Skies. Before we leave port here, it looks like it just auto-saves every time you leave port. Before we leave port, we should make sure to place our mascot, equip our mascot here. This grizzled Blemigan has seen all the world can offer. It has been a warrior, a poet, a king. But it finds no pleasure now in war, nor words, nor rain. This is probably being poetical here. This wasn't actually the king of the Blemigans, right? I don't know how their society works. Maybe all of them are kings. Who knows? Anyway, we got our seeds. We are headed out to accomplish a thing. Yes, the trading opportunity. You can see I was looking through here. Magdalen's lies to the west of New Winchester, so to the north, probably, roughly, of where we are now. Let's have a quick look. So yeah, somewhere over here, presumably? Okay, the map is not huge. I actually have no idea, like, how long it is going to take us to accomplish our ambition of writing the Song of the Sky here. Yeah, like I said, I really only sort of know what I'm getting us into. Okay, so this thing down here is our terrorometer. It is glowing and sort of pulsating oddly. But this incautious driver is really concerned that we're going to crash into things that he's already crashed into. What is this? This is not that farmstead that we were at before, is it? Oh, maybe it is. You sat down beside a humble homestead whose owners, despite their ragged sleeves, insist on inviting you in. Hospitality is important on the frontier. The settlers invite you to join them for a meal. This will reduce terror, and if you are starving, buy you some time. Well, I mean, they offered, right? Your host says grace over the simple meal before you begin. The bread is mealy, but spiced with what tastes like cloves. The broth is filling. The fire is warm. You indulge yourself and remove your boots. Okay, well, it seems like as long as we're around here, things are basically pretty nice, and terror is probably not going to be a huge issue. Do I want to try to go over here? Or do I think it would be this far west of New Winchester? I guess let's start further out. We can always just head back in. Seems like he's collided with either a lot of things or one thing that looks like a lot of different things. Also, I wonder if the passage of time plays into the story at all. 'Cause we are really tearing through the days here. You know, I'm starting to think that maybe we are too far west. Alright, there's cruise control. I don't actually have to hold this button down. Oh, okay, there we go. You would think it would be relatively easy to activate, but somehow I failed. Yeah, we probably ought to turn around. We're getting further and further. What is this now? Something to crave. Yo, what is that? I mean, it looks like a thing I ought to interact with, but it also looks terrifying. I guess let's get closer. Scoop requires butchery. Well, I don't have butchery. I guess, are these eels maybe? Is that what's going on here? Huh. Okay, we'll come back later once we have a butcher. Or once I have learned how to butcher terrifying space dust eels. I mean, they didn't really look like eels. They looked like just tendrils of shadow. You know what we could do while we're out here, I suppose? We could just send out the bat and see if he can tell us roughly where we're going. Go, buddy, go. Alright, we got something. Wait, did we get something? Huh. It said 1 on it. I don't see anything new, though. Well, whatever. We have to be a little cautious with that, because it does cost supplies, although it doesn't seem to be very much. I wonder how much faster... Oh, lights in the distance. Stoker begins to sing a ballad about the chimneys of New Winchester. I wonder how much faster the better locomotives are. Because it would seem like that would be a high priority. Wait a second. This looks suspicious, right? In a lot of games, I would just poke my head in here and see if this is like a hidden passage. I'm a little afraid to bump into it. We have 22 hull. Okay. Very low speed collisions do, in fact, still reduce your hull. Well, I thought it was worth prodding. Probably this game doesn't work that way. But it sure does look like a video game-ass secret opening, doesn't it? Maybe it's just me. Alright, Hodge's Crucible. This is new. We're getting somewhere. What have we here? Oh, just a bunch of hull. Bunch of ship armor. So this is probably the way. Oh, what have we here? Oh, that's a marauder. Well, I should have dodged. Come on. Dodge. Hey, that time it actually worked. I'll get the hang of that. I was trying to be clever there, but he didn't want to shoot. I was remembering how one of the marauders tricked me by just choosing not to continue forward when I fired. Oh, that didn't quite... It's a little trickier than it looks. I accidentally engaged a ramming maneuver. Probably it's not a good idea to slam the side of your vessel into the nose of someone else's vessel on purpose. I bet the nose is the part you want to hit people with. Alright, let's board the defeated marauder. To the victor the spoils. The crew of the marauder lie dead in the corridor, killed not by your guns, but by knives and small arms fire. The only survivor is the captain, locked in the brig with a bottle of brandy. Chalk eyes stare back from every wall. When he ran out of chalk, he began scraping them in with his fingernails. Little remains of them but bloodied stumps. Ugh. I've seen this before, Captain, says a crew member, grasping your arm. Sky madness. Magdalens can treat it, if you can be bothered to take the poor sod. Well... I suppose we're already headed to Magdalens. The high wilderness is cruel. This could easily be you one day. Yeah, alright. We should do this. We should take care of him. Provided we have room. The crew wrap the sky-maddened captain in blankets, then secure them tightly with belts. It takes 4 to transport him safely to your locomotive. He might not be happy restrained, but it should keep him from harm until you get him to Magdalens, which lies west of New Winchester. The captain secured, you have a moment to see whether there's anything of worth on his locomotive before abandoning it to the wilderness. We did not find anything. We do now have a tale of terror, so that's good. Exactly what I wanted to have. Oh, we didn't actually do the looting yet. You approach the buckled wreckage, poised to plunder the plunderers. Well, we're in a pretty good spot hull-wise, so let's see what's in their hold. What could it be? A solid crate, stamped and carefully sealed. It is as heavy as a dead man's weight. Well, maybe there's a dead guy in there. It turns out, it takes a wrench and your strongest stoker to lever off the lid. When at last the crate opens with a heavy thud, your crew gasp. Inside, the lustrous saltine crystals of ground owers, mined and refined for commercial use. This is the final product of London's greatest and most precious enterprise. A barrel of unseasoned owers. Boy, that's got to be valuable, huh? Although it might be the bad kind of valuable. The kind of valuable that gets you pursued and or arrested. Let's send out the bat. Maybe the bat can clear up exactly where Magdalens is for me. He found... Huh. Scout reports a successful expedition. You know, it says 1 next to the chart, but when we jump in here, it doesn't look like it's revealing anything new. I guess we didn't actually know about this platform before, and maybe that's what it revealed. We actually are going through our supplies at kind of Kind of a high rate. Let's maybe take it easy on the bat for a little while. And we're not that far from New Winchester. We could just go back and buy more supplies, I suppose. Although I don't have a huge amount of money. So we're probably not approaching Magdalene's. Ghosts of passing trains. And what is this exactly? There we go. Look at that. Look at that professional piloting job. We'll get into this dock. It's gonna take one of those good old-fashioned 45-point turns. Very stylish among the space-going youth these days. Victory Hall. The Assembly, a coalition of independent-minded settlers, colloquially called Tacketies, gather and argue here. Deliver port reports here to receive rewards and win the Tacketies' favor. So, I know we told our inspector that I was down with the Queen and everything, but I have to imagine our character, imprisoned as he was for the knowledge that he wished to obtain, would probably tend not to side with the authorities on stuff. We're probably going to want to build up our reputation with the Tacketies rather than with the Crown. Raised in the wake of the blockade of New Winchester, this magnificence of glass and steel houses the Colonial Assembly. You know what? As long as we're here, let's check in. Let's say howdy. So we can deliver our port reports, we can chat with this indurate veteran. She's taking a moment in the atrium, watching the stars burn coldly in the mists. Learn how you can be of use to the Tacketies, those colonists seeking independence from London. Yeah, alright. Her skin is brown and her hair is beginning to gray. She wears a heavy, unbuttoned coat. Metals gleam in the shadows behind its lapels. One half of her face is scarred from frostbite. She is enjoying a quiet cigarillo while her peers argue in the Chamber of Assembly. You talk for a while about life in the skies. When her cigarillo is just a stub, she says, "I'd be grateful to hear reports of your travels, Archivist. I suspect all manner of strife and imprudence is going to kick off in the foreseeable. I mean to be ready for it. As you visit ports, yeah, bring back the port reports, get rewards." Okay, I knew that part already. Well, sure, let's deliver them. Her tireless exertions during the blockade earned her both a seat on the Assembly and enemies in London. She likes to keep abreast of events. This will influence the balance of power in the Reach in favor of the Tacketies. Yeah, that's, I think, what we want to do. She listens with a scowl. Well, I'd rather know than not, I suppose. And thank you for bringing this to me, rather than the bloody stovepipes. I'll arrange a gratuity. We have some gratitude, also some sovereigns, which are a lot more spendable than gratitude, and we have reduced the fortune of the stovepipes while increasing the fortune of the Tacketies. Okay. 100 sovereigns is extremely welcome. And I guess we haven't got anything else to say to you. There's no shop here. Okay, well. It was said that we would get more money for bringing in more port reports. I kind of assumed they meant more money per report. Like, it's beneficial to you to build up a lot, but that means staying out longer and potentially engaging in more danger. But I guess I don't actually know that that's the case. I think that was more of an assumption that I made rather than something that was actually said to us. Well, we're pretty northwest of New Winchester here. Let's try going down that way, I guess. I think if it was in this direction, we would have been told that Magdalene's was northwest of New Winchester, not just west. We're getting a little low on supplies, and I am concerned about that. Also, that terror bar really does seem to be sort of glowering at me. It seems upset. It seems upset and slowly growing in power, which is a pair of traits that I'm not a big fan of. Alright, more lights. That looks like a marauder to me. Try to catch it in the side right away. Oh, sort of the opposite of what I was looking for there. Nope. Boy, full reverse is not very fast. Also, I dodged directly into that attack. Unfortunately, it's kind of tricky to stop turning. I'm trying to get the hang of turning just enough to fire that first shot, and then sticking at that angle so that we can fire a couple more in at real close range. Oof. Well, I almost dodged. Okay. Heat bar is full. This happens when you fire many shots in short succession. While you're overheated, you can't use lateral thrust, and if you fire a weapon, you'll take damage. I did definitely fire the weapon there while we were overheated. Your hull is a little worse for the wear. Try to repair it soon. Well, let's see if we can make any new hull armor out of this thing. Yeah, I think we probably ought to strip the engine for materials. Let the Marauder find a better use in death than it had in life. Your mirror's skill will slightly affect how much you repair. Okay, 9 hull, that's pretty good. Your crew go to work eagerly, vaulting out into the bright, tools at the ready. The stripping of the Marauder is slow and painful work. They are cobbled together of stolen parts. Finding suitable fits for your own engine is a process of trial and error. Many of your crew will have lost friends, family, and lovers to the Marauders. It speeds the work. Okay, that wasn't so bad. I gotta get better at fighting. Either that or we gotta get some bigger cannons. I probably should not send out the bat at this point. We're getting a little far north again. Marauders prowl these dim groves in defiance of nearby New Winchester. Okay, please have some good... Okay, there's some plating intact here. The wreck gleams with frost. Its windows are dark, its engine silent. Perhaps something of value lies within. So we could just try to go in there. Man, I really do want to figure out what's in there. What if they had supplies? We could really use supplies, and our hull's not in such bad shape. Although if we had another fight like the one we just had, I would probably die. I kind of want to roll the dice on this. Let's just take the hull plating. Okay. We got 11 that time. Engineers don sky suits and retrieve the salvageable plating, using it to patch the worst of your locomotive's damage. Okay. Oh! Uh-oh. What on earth is... That thing has tentacles. It's also making some real biological noises. Just like adjust the angle a little bit. Okay. Yo! That says it's a scout. Attacking the scout. It doesn't look... I mean, it doesn't look okay, that's for sure. Come on. No, bad. Being stationary is bad. I worked that one out myself. I will say, it feels like this cannon definitely does have some occasional accuracy issues, like it doesn't always fire directly in the center of the light. I overheated us again. Or I got us really close. Ow, shoot. That did some damage. Like, some real damage. What is wrong with this thing? I don't think it's the scout itself. I think that it's just, there's something in there. The scout is serving as really effective armor for it, though. Oh, no, you don't. Boy, it is really resistant to shooting. It's giving off a lot of smoke now. We must almost have it. Man, I'm a bad shot. No. Turn the other way. It's a good thing it's not fighting back anymore. I think we'd be in a lot of trouble. What on earth was going on there? Do we even want to touch whatever's left of it? The guests evicted. Their stolen home bursts open under your gunfire. Thousands of wriggling guests spill into the night, glistening like the ooze from a blister after it was lanced. Your blasts have ripped open one of the crew quarters. The revealed insides has pustules of nascent guests hanging from the walls. That's really gross. Well, we could attempt to trap and collect some of the guests, but I don't want to do that, even if we had a 100% chance of success. I have no interest in having those things on board. Enough can be used to create a weapon. No, I don't think that's a good idea. Now search the wreckage for valuables. That's the kind of thing we might get into. But perhaps we should just allow the crew to be happy that they blew up whatever the hell that was. And drop some terror. With our mirror skill being as low as it is, I'm reluctant to roll these dice. Yeah. Your guns thunder, reducing the writhing guests to a spray of pulp. Your crew cheer. The guests are a regular actor in Skyfarer's nightmares. A daily check for foot-long eyeless slug things is conducted on most engines. It only takes one for an infestation to begin. Wow, that's... You know, every time we learn something new about the Reach, it's even worse than I thought. Hard to imagine wanting to go out in one of these locomotives in that case. So, I mean, we are certainly west of New Winchester. Getting a little bit worried here, though. We're gonna have to just go back to New Winchester pretty soon. Yeah, alright, we're getting a little far out, and also it's getting very ominous out here. I do like the atmosphere, though. Oh. Definitely need to get that, if there are any supplies in here. Hull plating. I mean, I'm not upset about it, but it's definitely not what I would most like to have seen. As we get out into the open here, I'm becoming concerned that larger things could find us. I'm going to send out the bat. I know we're kind of hurting on supplies already, but what is that? What is that? Okay, it seems very eager to meet us. Scout has found something. Okay, a station. Great. That's where we're going. I'm debating between fleeing and trying to fight. Oh god. Ow. Okay. I don't think fleeing is actually an option. Ah, that's a cantanker. Okay. Tough little critters. You would think that most biological things would have a rough time with the missiles. Okay. Little food left now. Soon hunger will begin to bite. Well, maybe we can eat this thing. Cantankerous are lumbering, half-fossilized isopods that will attack anything they disapprove of. Given that they are very ancient and murderously grumpy, that means almost everything. The defeated Cantankerous has been blasted to smithereens. Only a cloud of stony chunks remains. While we can take a trophy, we can disperse the rubble and lose terror. We could sift through it and try to find something of scientific interest. It would be nice to have an uncanny specimen, and we're actually pretty good at this. Yeah, let's see if there's anything interesting left of it. Too thorough a job. None of the remaining pieces are whole enough to be of interest, either academic or ghoulish. However, you do find a few fragments of carapace veined with what looks like gold. Wow, weird. Okay, I'll take that. And now we must get to that station. It is of great importance. Good bat. Life-saving bat. Magdalene's. A place of peace, contemplation, and rest. The driver twitches miserably. Yeah, what did you do? I guess we're probably about to find out, huh? Oh, it's really pretty here. who are relieved to see land, perhaps unwisely. Also, I definitely bumped into the side of their dock. This place looks lovely, though. Magdalen's is the closest thing many Skyfarers have to a home. It offers services to alleviate the strain of a life spent too close to the stars. So we could step into Magdalen's House of Small Comfort. We could go to the Oniric Chambers to treat our nightmares. For some cases of sleepless nights lost in formless terror, of persistent night terrors and illucid dreams, more severe treatments are required. Okay, well, hold on. One thing at a time here. Beatrice's exchange. We definitely need to purchase supplies. This is very important. Let's start with 2 crates. Here in the bazaar, to complete this prospect supply, 3 seeds. Okay, that's very, very good for us. Magdalen's provides comfort and sympathy to the weary Skyfarer. Its hosts will tell you any lie you need to hear. Some of those lies require flowers. The amenable host wants up to 3 sacks of verdant seeds and will pay 80 sovereigns for each. Oh, that is wonderful. Yes, here are your seeds. The amenable host smiles. Just what we needed. Although I must admit I do miss roses, and lilies, and bluebells. Still, these celestial blooms have their own virtues. Some of them weep, you know. He pays you a generous gratuity. Okay, wow, yeah. That is generous. Bargains available. A rangy captain employed by the Wit and Vinegar Company, a struggling lumber concern, is selling bronzewood offcuts. The bark gleams where it was cut by her engine's saw. So we could acquire additional bronzewood, but I don't really know what to do with it, and it's also very expensive. Let's maybe take a step into the House of Small Comfort. We don't really have a lot of terror or anything to worry about, and I'm kind of curious what goes on here. The glass spires of Magdalen's pierce the clouds like swords. Shadowed figures can be seen moving through the gleaming corridors, their identities obscured by the hued glass. Crowds of Skyfarers, ministry officials, and merchants mill about the forecourt, in varying degrees of distress. All watch the clock set in the great clock tower, waiting for their appointed hour. Well, we are definitely here to deliver this sky-maddened captain. Here he can get help. Let's hope. The nurses bring a stretcher to carry the sky-maddened captain from your train. He'll receive the care of Magdalen's finest. At least, Magdalen's finest with a sense of charity, given that he has nothing on him to pay for their ministrations. He is no longer my problem. I am briefly without terror, and we're getting close to another level here. We've also received a vision of the heavens. What do I do with a vision of the heavens? We can have a meeting with the amenable host, the founder and master of ceremonies at Magdalen's. He has requested us by name, has he? That's curious. An attendant escorts you through the dazzling violet corridors. The host's red door is always open. The attendant leaves you just as the clock begins to chime. The amenable host reclines on a couch of crushed velvet, a goblet of sparkling wine in his long fingers. Somewhere in the tower above him, the great clock ticks away. As a policy, the host's atrium is always open to guests. He is available to hear opinions, friendly criticism, and suggestions. Today, he has a headache. Okay, well, he called us in here for a reason. A sickness. His voice is soft and sibilant, like butter melting in candlelight. A guest has become rather too attached to a particular attendant. He always requests that the same attendant appear in the exact same guise. The amenable host's lip curls in distaste. He reiterates the aim of Magdalen's, a place of healing and respite. It was not meant to feed obsession or self-indulgent self-loathing. This guest brings sickness. I would have him purged. I have a dossier on our guest, if you're interested in helping. Well, the amenable host seems like an important dude, and probably helping him is a good way to make us an important dude as well. Let's take the Lachrymose guest's dossier. The amenable host, this one's not my fault. The amenable host smiles indulgently. I am so glad you want to help. He produces a thin sliver of pages and passes them to you. I'd recommend taking on the role of one of our attendants. That way you'd be playing the role of someone significant to him. The amenable host sighs, reaching for his goblet. He knows all of our attendants by voice now. Someone new is needed. Okay, I'm not super good at deception. So let's write a port report before something goes wrong and we have to leave in a real hurry, right? We definitely will want to have a report. Magdalen's is abuzz with activity. Barely has the clock chimed than a clamor goes up at the front desk. Guests running to and from appointments. Lord Somebody was seen in conversation with the amenable host. The East Wing was closed for general access all day. A certain distinguished admiral was seen with his second-in-command entering one of the chambers of regret. Several guests succumbed to an excess of sentimentality and were forcibly removed. Seems like the sort of thing that happens a lot here. Alright, let's speak with an attendant here. When dealing with the guest, it might be helpful if we know exactly what it is that goes on in this place. The staff at Magdalen's promise treatments for the deleterious effects of the high wilderness. Loneliness, desperation, folly, regret, love. An attendant at the foyer schedules appointments with the aide to a hefty daybook and a very accurate clock. Sorry, the aide of a hefty daybook and a very accurate clock. You can tell it's getting late in the day for me. They are eager to explain the procedures and the rules that govern here. This is a hospital for the spirit. Our staff will become the person you need. Here you may say farewell to a doomed comrade, resurrect an old love, spar with a defeated enemy, all for a fair price. But do not overindulge. Our services are to heal, not to become an addiction. A mother wanders past with a young boy. He would only ever listen to his old arithmetic tutor. His death has been rather expensive. Yeah, that's a... boy. This is a grim place. Alright, let's see what we can do here. I'm a little concerned about this because our veil skill is not very high. I think that that's in keeping, sort of with the character as I imagine him. He stands on the threshold of the treatment chambers, his hands trembling. The attendants on duty have been informed about your involvement. How do you plan to deal with him? A treatment chamber has been emptied for you, should you wish to adopt a guise from his past. Alternatively, he is standing right there. He does not seem to have noticed you, his eyes instead boring through the doors of the treatment rooms. Well, the direct approach does have the benefit that probably our bad veil skill will not be relevant. Or we could try to disguise ourselves as his mother or his lover. The attendant normally on duty is more than happy to assist you. Anything, as long as it gets rid of him. Let's, I think the host told us to try a disguise, but I don't know that we'd be good at that. Let's try approaching this directly. The lachrymose guest's eyes widen as you approach. Has there been a problem? You invite him to sit. Stiff brandies are ordered. You recount your own share of heartbreaks and tragedies, how you found yourself here, and you make clear that despite all that, you will be leaving. He nods slowly, and after a quick shake of your hand, walks away toward the station. He does not look back. Well, okay, that seems like a pretty good outcome, as long as he's not going to, like, come back and try to blow the place up. Alright, the attendant leaves us. The clock always does begin to chime right as we're talking to this guy, huh? Well, let's let him know that maybe this worked out. Maybe I did it. The amenable host smiles beatifically. Of course, my staff will be pleased. It is a risk of our trade, when our clients can no longer separate identity and illusion, but seldom pleasant. He sighs deeply, echoing around the chamber like a newly freed dove. It is a trap any of us could fall into. His face darkens briefly. Here, take this. He fishes around beneath his couch for one of his goblets. It'll fetch a pretty price. Take it with my thanks. And do visit us again. Okay, see, we did it. We did a favor. We got paid. This is all good stuff. Now that we've saved some money, it might make sense to buy some locomotive equipment from Abraham's Engineering. You have at least 1,500 sovereigns. You could even buy a new locomotive. Honestly, I kind of want to do that. That's probably a pretty significant upgrade, and it's not really that expensive to put to... Like, it'll be a couple of episodes of earnings, probably, but it might well be worth it. Alright, let's see if anybody being discharged is feeling chatty. A set of attendants guide a frail old woman out of the chamber doors. Tears line her wrinkled face. So nice to see everybody again, for the first time since the tomb colonies. She rummages in her bag and produces a set of figs. Take these for Gladys. I know I shouldn't, but last time I heard her belly rumbling something rotten. Almost spoiled the scene. A cloud passes above the gleaming spires. Thunder resounds through the glass. Okay, well, maybe we've done all we can really do here. I mean, this was a very, very lucrative little trip. Now that we have more money, we should probably buy some more supplies, right? Oof, supplies are really expensive. It's going to be hard for us to save up for a new locomotive having to buy supplies all the time. We probably also ought to get some fuel. Yeah, alright. It's a lot of money, but what can you do? Operating a spooky space train is not cheap. So, we have a new port report. We could just go home. Who is this now? Oh. That's a scout. That's an enduring dreadnought. Oh, okay, that's a ship of the crown. Let's not be a part of the thing that's happening here. I almost accidentally got myself killed there. Oh, apparently I just now got the XP from visiting Magdalene's. Well, we've leveled up. Let's grab this scavenging. Cool. A little bit of fuel. We should also wait until this fight resolves and then loot. Or loot during the fight. That works too. I'm trying not to get accidentally shot, though. We'll just grab this and be gone before they know what's up. The Tacites favor scrappy, versatile engines that, when not skirmishing with company vessels, can serve double duty as traders, messengers, or transports. Well, we definitely should just steal all the cargo, right? I don't think I need the hull plating. What am I actually at here? I don't get my mouse over... Oh, no. There we go. 19? You know, we could use one more hull repair. Yeah, sure. You fix the worst of the damage to your locomotive with a blackened bronze wood. The outside of your vessel is mottled now, and the inside smells persistently of old fire. Mangled Tacity nameplates remains unchanged at 0. So I guess sometimes we can recover nameplates from the ships. I'm just going to back out of the fight here. Oh, geez. They're both drifting toward me pretty fast. Come on, stop. Okay. Keep trying to back up. Boy, neither one of them seems to have any interest in the fact that I'm here. Okay, what we've learned is that we should not mess with those dreadnoughts. Also, those dreadnoughts are not interested in the spoils of their labors, which is just fine for us. Alright, this one we don't have to scrap. Let's try to seize its cargo. Tacites often carry natural resources that they have hewn, farmed, or mined from the Reach. Lengths of bronze wood, vessels of sticky chorister nectar, sacks of boisterous seeds, barrels of owers, freshly dug from some nameless skyrock. What did this one have? Well, we gained another barrel of unseasoned owers. I wonder what unseasoned means in this context. Alright, well, seems like a fine time to level up. So, a narrow escape. A lost love, a mentor. Having here a moment of reflection. My masterpiece. I think there probably was a scandal. We ended up in prison somehow, right? What are the events that led up to that? Probably we were doing some research that was forbidden, and somebody found out somehow. Also, we probably had a mentor. I'm thinking we want to focus on mirrors and hearts, right? Those are the sort of the things that make sense to me about our character. Let's go a scandal. You were the gossip of London salons and the target of blistering editorials in the Gazette. Mad, they said. Bad, they said. Dangerous to know. What was the incident that exposed you to the buffeting winds of public opinion? A torrid affair or a parade of debauchery? Well, if you're going to engage in debauchery, you may as well go for an entire parade's worth, right? Absinthe, wantonness, more absinthe, brawling, gambling, blasphemy and slander, absinthe and prisoner's honey. Prisoner's honey alone. Prisoner's honey in company. Is there a vice you haven't explored? It's possible. There are only so many hours in the day. Or we could have had a torrid affair. This is not exactly how I was imagining the character, but you know, sometimes it's good to take things in an unexpected direction. Sort of lost control a little bit. That's how public opinion turned against us. Alright, well, we may as well explore a little bit more now. No sense in heading straight back to give this report, although hold on a second. What else did we have going on? We do have this inspector we were supposed to take to Port Prosper. We also need to figure out where Hybris is. So northwest and north-northwest. Well, I suppose this is the direction, but hold on a second. Let's just map this area out a little bit more. So that's that dreadnought. It's pretty damaged from the fighting, but it also seems to have some pretty wicked weapons. I don't think we should attack it. Okay. Well, that was all we really needed to fill in. Let's check out what is north of this. Debating whether I want to send the bat out. I guess we don't really have a lot of places we can go here. It's not like we're going to get lost. Let's just follow the corridor for a ways before we go spending any supplies. It is pretty here, I'll say that. The Fallows. Seems like it's wrapping back around. I do wish that people would give us slightly more specific directions. I suppose it's possible that we're missing something on the other wall of the cavern. I'm a little nervous about going out into what looks like it might just be open space. These are the borders of the Queen's March. First step in the long journey to Albion. Yeah, I guess let's figure out what else is down this corridor. Let's connect this to the area that we already have mapped out. Oh, there's another lighthouse, and I don't think we've seen that one. That'll be worth some XP. You know, honestly, this could be one of the places. We are in an area that I might describe as northwest of New Winchester. Oh, interesting. What is going on here? Oh, it's just a homestead. It's quite a large homestead. Here's an abandoned homestead. Its roof sagged, its windows empty of glass. For every settler that makes a life for themselves in the Reach, another is lost. Well, we could search this abandoned homestead. It looks like we're pretty good at searching homesteads, apparently. There's a real talent of mine. You find bottles of homemade wine in the cellar, pots of meat pickling under the soil by the doorstep, and salvageable tools in an overgrown shed. Modest treasures that could mean the difference between life and death if your fortunes turn. That's excellent. That's like 80... oh, we have too much stuff in the hold. I think we could afford to leave behind a fuel crate. And we're going to be able to sell this bronze wood at some point, and these hours have to be worth something. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing to do there. So not really 80 sovereigns worth of value then, since we had to leave the fuel behind. Still pretty good. Yeah, I think the first major equipment purchase I want to buy is whatever's going to speed our locomotive up a little bit. It'll be much easier to explore if we are faster. Alright, well, I think we've drawn this area out. We could check up here. Was that place north by northwest? Or west? Okay, north-northwest. So, Hybris could be up here. I guess that's where we're headed. Plenty of fuel, plenty of supplies. Also, with this level of supplies, once we get a little bit further north, we can toss the bat out. We'll see if he can discover anything new for us. You know, I kind of thought when we sent the bat out and it showed a 1 by the chart that meant that he had revealed a location of interest. But I wonder if it just means to show that, like, he explores a larger area around you. Let's try it here. Alright, so he comes back, we get the 1. Okay, it did uncover another point of interest for us. There's a platform in there, which I assume we access from around here. So yeah, he's not just uncovering areas of map, he is revealing points of interest specifically. Which is how I initially thought it probably worked. That's just a scout, right? Yeah. We can just leave him alone. Whoa, he's a little unpredictable. At the moment, things seem relatively calm. We're not really accumulating a lot of terror. We're not coming under fire by anything we can't really deal with. A distant clamor of engine yards, an accretion of smog on the windows. Ah, this is the company house. Okay, we don't actually want to deal with them, I don't think. Although I suppose it couldn't hurt to stop in and chat. I just don't want to give them my port report. Right, this was one of the places we could turn them in, wasn't it? Before you leave New Winchester, it may be prudent to buy more supplies. You can buy them at the Victoria Market. Yeah, okay. I figured out how stuff works already. The local headquarters of the Windward Company, London's proxy in the Reach. Deliver port reports here to receive rewards and win the company's favor. We will save our report for elsewhere. We could just chat with the prudent secretary here. I don't think we're going to get anything useful out of that. They're just going to tell us the same thing we heard at the other place. Hey, bring me your port reports, because I would really like them. We've already basically picked a side. Nobody tell the horologist. Although maybe we're going to find that we will have wished that we picked London. They certainly seem to have the resources. Also the ability to manipulate time in a way that, frankly, is kind of scary. Probably I would be a little bit less concerned about that if I knew how hours were actually used. This corner of the sky is little traveled and has been given over to the wilderness and the lost and fungus. Okay, that's just a tackety scout, nothing to worry about. Ow. Accidentally drifted our rear end right into that big rock. I will say the side thrusters on this train leave a little bit to be desired. Send the bat out. He thinks he knows about something over there? Or maybe he always takes the same route. Okay, well, there is something in this direction. I guess that'll have to be good enough. I wonder how the bat figured out that there was something over here, but wasn't able to figure out even what type of something it might be. Saw something very faint through the fog and was like, you know what? I'm not going over there by myself. I don't have a cannon. Okay, well, I mean, that is certainly something. You found and benefited from a wonder, one of the most pleasant and least menacing landmarks of the High Wilderness. Wonders immediately lower terror when you draw near them, so long as you haven't visited too recently. Sometimes it's worth taking a detour to include them in your routes. Okay, I missed this text because that other text was long enough. The Memorial to the Unknown Rat. Oh, that's adorable. What we have here is a brave and intrepid rat. A boon to all who knew him. Like most rats. Alright, well, good work, Bat. This is not exactly what we were looking for, but it is lovely. The Foxthorn. The wreck gleams with frost, its windows are dark. Perhaps something of value lies within. The windows of the crew quarters are occluded with frost. Was that movement you saw? Well, yeah, let's signal. Let's see if there's maybe anybody left. Your signaler fetches their signal lamp and flashes a patient message into each portside window. There! A faltering glow burns in the frost. Someone has struck a match. You dispatch a boarding party. They retrieve a survivor who is eager to sign on and a hard worker, if surly from their long isolation. I mean, sure, that would affect anybody's mood. Alright, so where are we relative? It's possible that there was a settlement on that edge of that rock. I suppose we ought to be certain. You know, with us having so many supplies, let's get a little bit closer and then go ahead and send the bat out again. The inscription on the memorial is dedicated to those brave Ratus Faber who gave their lives in the early exodus to heaven. Your bat is pleased to announce it has found absolutely nothing. Well, that suggests to me that maybe there isn't anything over here, but I guess let's go be certain. We're not in a great hurry at the moment. I think, from what we've seen so far, that's going to sort of characterize these sessions. Nothing happening in a great hurry. And then, all of a sudden, flurries of activity with lots of missiles and explosions. But for the most part, a pretty chill, if extremely ominous time. Yeah, alright, I am fairly certain now that we are not going to find a place to dock over here. Although, I mean, this is definitely man-made. Well, whatever it was, it seems like the fungus has reclaimed it now. Okay, that's something grave. Well, I suppose we ought to see what it is. It is marked on the map. That's not just that wreck, is it? I would assume that wreck was no longer actually, like, interactable now that we've gotten the crew off of it. You know, I do love rats. They're wonderful companions, just lovely animals in general. Brave is maybe not a word that I would apply to any rat that I have ever met. I'm not saying this to mock them. It's one of the greatest things about rats is that that survival instinct. A wreck, Captain. Might be worth a wee look. Yeah, we already took a wee look. Ah, Was another wreck at the edge of our vision, apparently. The Zuber. The wreck gleams with frost, its windows are dark. The steel of its chassis is mangled, but the bridge appears largely intact behind its broken windows. Yeah, I guess let's try. I'm a little nervous about failing to enter. Seems like that could have some consequences. We're getting lucky today, though. You don your sky suit. Your driver pulls your locomotive alongside the wreck, close enough for you to leap from one to the other. The floor of the bridge is carpeted with glass fragments. It shines like stars in your lamplight, and tinkles like bells when your boots brush it. A sky chest, nailed to the floor at the back of the bridge, yields to your efforts. We've discovered a solid crate. A gunner sniffs just before the lid is wrenched open. Gunpowder, they assert, before assuming responsibility for the opening. Once the lid has been carefully prized off, the case's gleaming arsenal of ammunition, sealed powders, and callous weaponry is laid bare. This will fetch a handsome price. The heavens do not lack for murderers. Yeah, I mean, that's sort of just anywhere that there are people. Okay, well, we found ourselves a new region. Yeah, the fungus is definitely sort of changing character around here. Also, we can hear gunfire in the distance, it sounds like. Not sure exactly where. Maybe to our east? Yeah, I think so. Let's go over there and see if we can be of any help, or, you know, just loot the dead. Now, maybe I'm here, maybe I'm not right, because we came in from the east. We would have seen the gunfight happening if it was happening right here. Maybe it's a little bit north, like up there, or up here, perhaps? Let's try, yeah, let's try north along the edge of this ridge here. Whatever it is, it sounds like it's still... Oh, maybe not. I was gonna say, it sounds like it's still happening, but now I don't hear it. Nope, never mind. We're definitely closer. Aha! Alright, who are you fighting? Trying not to be directly behind him. Okay, here's a nice bit of cover. Okay, just a dreadnought. Well, my guess is the dreadnought wins. They seem to be pretty mean ships. Yeah, they do that. Oh, okay. Very nearly took a hit there. Probably they don't look too kindly on people like me, just vultures, but seems like an okay way to make a living to me. Just take cover right here. I will say, these scouts seem remarkably tough. I guess we know that, right? The scout that we encountered that was loaded down with guests took an awful lot of fire before it ruptured. And hey, we're getting to explore all this space with a little bit of an extra escort, in case anything truly terrifying should occur. Forgotten factories, gently desolated. Well, I don't want to lose the fight here. It's basically just free loot for us. Let's follow these guys until they resolve their issue. What are you shooting at? Alright, let's attack these. Yeah, let's seize the cargo. I think we're okay on hull still. Reclaimed. Got ourselves another barrel of unseasoned hours. Huh. Why are you still firing? Maybe the part of the train that makes the shooting stop was damaged in the combat? Is that a thing? Does that sound remotely possible? Let's see if we can actually dock at this factory. Broken habitation, long abandoned. We do not have the assaying ability, so we cannot interact with this. Alright, well, we have ranged pretty far from New Winchester. In theory, we're still in the area that you might describe as north or northwest. So we could potentially find the settlements we're looking for. We're going to have to start heading back pretty soon, though. Got a lot of distance to cover, and we are starting to get low on supplies again. That said, at least we have one port report that we can turn in. And we have some goods to sell. I assume somebody's going to be able to take these hours off our hands. Let's map a little bit more before we head back. Also, we're only saved at ports. So we'll have to get back there to end the episode anyway. I wonder if we can get a piece of equipment that maybe like enlarges the area that we reveal as we fly through. That would be awfully handy. Send the bat out and see if he can find us anything around here. Now we got something. Huh. Apparently I just didn't go quite far enough. Well, let's continue to head around this way. Yeah, see if we can approach it from the other side. Well, maybe not. Maybe this particular piece of land is a lot larger than I would like. Yeah, man, what could have caused people to abandon such a large built-up area? Very weird. Extremely ominous. Okay, looks like we can maybe get around here. I am a little bit worried about our supplies. Oh, also this. This is worrying. Well, it looks like it's all plant life. And thus probably not gonna suddenly latch out and eat us. Ooh, I'm a little concerned about the supply situation. Skeen. Well, we certainly don't have the ability to send the bat out anymore. I may end up cutting it kind of close on this. Hoping that when we reach whatever this is, it will have some supplies for us. I mean, I'm telling you, even just looking at this air, sort of yellowy with the floating stuff in it, I can feel my allergies starting up. Here goes the last crate of supplies. Please, please, please let this be a port where we can buy some stuff. Oh. Well, maybe they'll have some supplies. Oh. Ah. No food left. Darn it. It's a bad miss. Alright, I think we can afford to overheat a little bit here. He's pretty stuck. Okay, come on, supplies. Let's loot the hold. A distressingly odored barrel. Probably just fuel, huh? Yep. Well, you know what? We were actually getting kind of low on fuel. I wasn't really looking at that because I was worried about our food situation. But you know what? That matters too. What is this? A fungal fragment. In sky suits and spore masks, your crew hauls a porous asteroid aboard. The top half is veiled by a mesh of fungus, like minty crinoline. Lichen of all shades cling to the underside of the rock in an iridescent coating. Well, we could just destroy the fungus or study it, but honestly, like, we have to eat. We have a coin flip here to harvest anything that probably won't poison, infect, or inhabit you. Yeah, sorry everybody. I mean, we need food. Oh, thank God. Gained 2 supplies and also 10 terror. 2 supplies is such a big deal right now, though. Your cook hacks off the growths that look most edible and tips them into a keg. Mottled caps, pale stalks, spools of delicate noodle-like roots. When all's done, the asteroid is rolled back out of the hatch, and the room hosed down with carbolic. Can't be too careful with mushrooms. The thing we found was a horror. Maybe we don't want to be here. The messenger of the heavens, breathes a member of your crew. There are tears in his eyes. We found a horror, one of the more disturbing landmarks in the high wilderness. Do not linger! Terror will increase more quickly than usual as long as you remain near it, and also, that's happening. Yeah, this is bad. Okay, let's grab this loot. We could try to force open the doors to the hold. I'm not super good at iron. Stripper for repairs. Actually, I took some damage here. Let's strip for repairs. 13 hull, not bad at all. And let's just get away from this. The driver is considering the fungal rocks with an expression of recognition, perhaps. Alright, well... should we try scraping this one for supplies as well? We could study the fungus. We could attempt to harvest it for fuel. I don't think we need the fuel. We probably have enough supplies to get home. Let's just try studying it this time. It does not respond to movement, heat, or light. It does, however, seem inclined towards sound, emitting a puff of spores in the direction of 2 chattering crewmen. You perform further experiments. It ignores the noise of the engines and is unresponsive to music, but it does respond to singing. Apparently, the fungus likes voices. Alright, well, that's interesting. Let's get the hell out of here. Yeah, if that inhabited Tackety scout wants to follow us out, I'll fight it once we're away from that horror. Oh, God. I really thought that this was going to allow us to just get back out this way. Now I'm concerned that we maybe should have just turned around instead of going through. Well, I suppose when you're going through hell, you should keep going. That said, I am a little concerned that the more apt metaphor might be that we have dug ourselves a hole, and that we will not find ourselves able to dig upward. Alright, probably everything's fine. I haven't heard anything angry. Although everything here does look kind of angry. As your terror rises, bad things will happen. You can reduce terror by discovering new ports, returning to major ports, and through special opportunities at ports you've been to before. Try not to let it reach 100. This is usually fatal. Okay. I'm working on it. Boy, where are we now? Grim foreboding. What will become of you? Bat, help. Help, Bat. Find me anything. Oh, that's not something I can just sail through. Oh, okay, a station. Alfred and Clara's farm. Okay, thank God. There's the dock captain, a signaler declares. The crew are relieved at the thought of solid land. Oh, we found Hybris. Ooh, okay, I was getting extremely worried there. Returning to a major port like New Winchester or London will greatly reduce terror, provided that at least 15 days have passed since the last visit. A fledgling colony trying to dig its fingernails deep enough into the spongy fungal fabric of the Reach to cling on when hard times come. It is a sad truth that many more settlements are founded than flourish. Nestled amid sprawling, sporing gardens of fungus, Hybris is a colony of octogenarians. Okay, well, let's have a look inside. Rotting buildings slough gently into decay. Maintenance is poor, the population aged. An insect speckled with fungus flies past drowsily. Growth asks no license, reads a barely legible sign, staked into a collapsed pile of fungal eggs. Ugh, a venerable welcoming party is gathered. We should definitely gather a port report, like immediately, in case, again, we have to suddenly leave. Not much seems to happen in this sleepy place. Life moves slowly here. There are arguments over the rules of bowls and the correct amount of time to steep tea. The station master seems to avoid the villagers. There's an unusual, unique quality to the starlight which filters through the underside of the caps. Yeah, this place makes me very nervous. A slow day. There isn't much going on in Hybris today. The people seem exhausted. Unlocked when you do not have Insula de Brazil. Alright, well let's meet with the welcoming party. He has a firm handshake. Welcome to our little hideaway. Watch your step, that one's about to fruit. True enough, the little white sack at your feet suddenly splits. Snaking tendrils of red fungus explode outwards. The mayoral assistant, a severe woman of slightly less advanced years, guides the mayor to a nearby bench. You may stay as long as you like. Something is changing in Hybris. Let's take tea at the Brendan. The only lodging house in Hybris and the only building with more than one story. The smell of stewed tea permeates the dilapidated boards. Yeah, we could stand to exchange some sovereigns for some terror reduction. I think that would be alright. The owner keeps a clean and ordered house. She bakes her tea cakes to perfection and ices them to resemble the fungus that has colonized the windowsills. It's been here longer than us, she laughs as she pours another round of tea. The tea is sour. The milk has gone off. Well, that wasn't good for my terror at all. Hybris has only a handful of buildings clustered amongst folds of fungus, yet life goes on here. A game of bowls has been organized on the flattest bit of marsh. You are invited to participate by the mayoral assistant, who proves herself a mean backhand draw. When all is over and everyone has retired for fungal juices at the Brendan, the wizened mayor takes you aside. This is what it's all about. A second youth. First, in some cases. He grins conspiratorially. Well, let's see about this retiring filmmaker. Fairnance waves as she lights candles outside the Brendan. Infected fireflies dance around the long match. The wizened mayor calls to you from the balcony of his house. He's going to bed. He rather overdid it at bowls earlier, you see. So if we had brought a retiring filmmaker, it would make this unavailable, I guess. I thought that this perhaps would give us a retiring filmmaker, and that's why it would only be available if we didn't already have him. We could wander the wilds. I'm a little nervous about all that. Let's ask the question that's probably been on everyone's mind. What's the deal with everyone here being quite old? The wizened mayor chuckles. Oh no, we'd welcome youth, but we don't get many settlers coming out this way. We're happily secluded here. He smiles wistfully as, across the marsh, his mayoral assistant trounces an unfortunate at bowls. Our best years were spent by others. The wizened mayor glances toward the town hall, where preparations are being made for a performance. We have plans to hopefully change that, though. Well, okay. I mean, I guess I can't fault anyone for wanting a second youth. Alright, let's hunt in the woods with our cryptozoologist. I don't want to just wander out there by myself. Yeah, we'll probably do both, actually. If a colony of sentient mushrooms was going to establish itself anywhere, I suppose this would be the place. The cryptozoologist leads the way, following a melodic hum in the air. Soon enough, you find it. In a pus-soaked hollow, a chorus of blemigans howl in perfect harmony. I can't see, whispers the cryptozoologist. I need to get closer. She sneaks toward them, but stealth is not one of her talents. They scatter. "Wait," she calls, giving chase. I just want to record you." You leave her to her hunt. She seems happy enough. Alright, well, she paid us, and also we've got an otherworldly artifact, which I assume she left us with. That's a weird thing. Alright, well, while we're out here, I suppose let's wander around a bit. Swamp and marsh, fungus and frond, nowhere in the Reach has been so thoroughly colonized. It would be a shame not to see the sights. I guess. Fingers of black and red mushroom rise from the sodden ground. Tendrils of white fungus form vast arches. An earthy smell pervades the air and follows you through the swamps like a lost dog. In the middle of a grove of writhing sacks, you find a plinth adorned with broken and twisted nameplates, the shape of collars. Brabazon Workworld has been imprinted on each. Ah. Perhaps the settlers aren't actually from anywhere else. Alright, well, this was fine. What's going on at the bazaar? A whistling apiarist is selling fresh, or at least recent, chorister nectar, a versatile substance used variably as a sweetener, an intoxicant, and a tonic for the vocal cords. The apiarist seems jolly, though his tune is not. Well, we could buy a bunch of this stuff. We don't have an immediate need for it. But I also don't necessarily want to come back here. So we could buy some verdant seeds. We could buy some more supplies. I think I'm going to do at least one more crate of supplies, especially since we're about to crack that one. This will get us home at least. And then, do we want to buy some nectar, just in case we do discover a use for it? Like I said, I don't particularly want to come back here. Here's what I think we'll do. We'll buy this. There we go. I wanted our supply crate to crack. That'll get us another slot open in our inventory, and we will buy the other one nectar remaining. I'm sure we'll find a sale for it somewhere. Find a place worth selling it. Actually, was I done there? Are we done? Yeah, I guess so. Not exactly sure how we'll get home, but I suppose this is where we ought to call it for now. Things are already an awful lot more menacing than they were when we started. Come back next time, tomorrow, to find out if we can indeed make it back to New Winchester at all. And we'll see you then.